The Mid-American Conference season rolls on today as two cross-divisional teams jockey for position. Ball State and Akron. It's women's college basketball here on ESPN3. And with that, we welcome you down on the court alongside former Ball State Cardinal and Shelby Murder. Tyler Bradfield on hand. Amanda Smith will be along shortly. Well, these two teams squared off last year in this very same venue with Worthen Arena. However, far different circumstances. Last year was a preseason exhibition game between the two. Tonight, the final regular season non-conference game for Ball State. Two-possession game inside Worthen Arena. Combs rises three. Give it to him. Back to a one-point game.
Points that allowed her to be Geneva's leading scorer all time.
Myers spots up for three and rattles it home. Ball State wants to run. Persons with a full head of steam. Outside Kiapaway. You betcha. Yeah! Hit well into the gap of center and left, but a diving stop by Brown. Denacia Christian trying to seal the first conference win of the year for Ball State. A senior on senior day and a two-time MAC floor champion. Schreiner out of the back row. And a tip by Seaman. Carry from the wind, a smack by Call, left field, bounces to the fence. Call around first, standing up at second. A combination of some excellent hitting by Ohio and some struggling hitting by Ball State. An 11-6 set two lead and the first kill for Goodsell of the evening. Franco House, who was sidelined during the first half with early foul trouble. Persons off the bounce and in.
Just what you want to see, getting the ball into the paint, about a 15-foot jumper there from Persons. We talked about him being a facilitator lately, 11 assists per game in the past two, but let's not forget he's the team's leading scorer at 16 per game.
Can also score the ball, facilitate it. Persons against Coppin State over the Thanksgiving holiday in Las Vegas had a double-double, 19 points and 10 assists. It's the first points, assists, double-doubles for Ball State since Randy Davis did it 6 years ago in 2010. IUPUI down by 9, trying to cut into what is the biggest lead of the game. Combs. That may have found his stroke.
And that's not what you want for Ball State. Combs has struggled all first half long shooting the basketball, was just 1 of 7 prior to that, but got a big one to go early on in the second half. Team's leading scorer, you don't want him to get going.
And he's 1 for 3 from beyond the arc. 16 points per game. Kiapaway with the answer, right in front of Combs.
A guy who has been struggling all season long prior to the last couple games is Francis Kiapaway, struggling to shoot the three ball after being a 42% three-point shooter a year ago. But Kiapaway knocks down that one. That's his second three-pointer of the game.
A third foul on Franco House. Early foul trouble again to start the second half for House.
But he did a nice job rebounding from the foul trouble early on. The first 3 minutes into the game, he had 2 fouls and then still played quite a bit of minutes in the last 17 minutes of the first half and didn't pick up another one.
He remains on the floor, and Combs has hit back-to-back three-pointers. He's in double figures now for the 7th time this season.
You said it a possession ago, he might have found his stroke, and that might be the case if you're Combs. 10 points for him, knocked down his second three-pointer. He averages over 16 points a game, team's leading scorer. When they went on the road to a Big Ten foe, Michigan, a couple weeks ago, he scored 20+.
That was one of their 5 losses this season. Entered at a mark at 2-5. Have yet to win away from Indiana Coliseum. Persons rattles in from straight away. Back to the biggest lead of the game, 9 for Ball State.
Being a freshman and being in her shoes right now, I remember how much confidence you needed to have in order to even pull the trigger on a shot like that. So I give credit to her for making it look that great and just making it look so fluid.
She's seen a lot of minutes here in the second quarter with an obvious height advantage at 6'5", going against a 5'11" Ricketts. And you see it pay off right there.
Coach Sally looks very satisfied with that move.
Akron hasn't had a field goal in the last 4 minutes as Ball State's extended their lead. Biggest of the game at 7. Off the screen, Sefcik launches three, misses short. Morrison trying to make this a double-figure lead.
Credit that to Carmen Grande. Pushing the tempo and looking opposite. She was on that opposite side, but always had her head up, finding that shooter on the opposite side of the floor. That makes it harder for the defense to adjust, especially in transition, to close out on a shooter like that, coming all the way across the court.
And the issues continue to compound for Akron. Cruz called for a travel inside.
Coach Patterson working with the guards, I remember in my head hearing slice the floor to all of his guards. As soon as they start pushing the ball in transition, they want to slice it across the court, get to that opposite side, hopefully shift the defense and have action on the opposite side.
Gave Grande her 5th assist of the afternoon. A team high, averaging the 4th most in the country up to this point. She can shoot from outside. What a nice little stretch for the sophomore point guard out of Madrid, Spain. She has 7 and 5 assists, and Ball State has their biggest lead.
Ball State shooting 62% from the field, as opposed to Akron's 34, a little under 35%.
Grande into the lane, gives up Jose!
That's hard to guard. That is hard to guard.
A 15-0 run by Ball State. 2 minutes to go into the locker room, and a timeout to Jody Kest of Akron.